We are live, James.
Hi, everybody. Great. Thanks, John.
Sure
Hi,
thing.
everybody. Hi, this is James Van Prague, and I'm with John Williams, my producer here. And it's Monday, and we do Soul Care now on Mondays. If you forgot, just checking in with you. I just got up a little while ago because I've been under the weather a little bit. I had a little bit of a little bit of a cold,
Mm.
so I'm sniffing. Yes, so um, I'm here, but I have my coffee cup. Having some coffee, and this is I just this is so funny. I have a roommate, and my roommate and we have a friend visiting for her birthday, and I just got some coffee, and I took out this mug, and I started laughing because I said, "Where did I get this mug from?" And I looked at my roommate Ken and said, "Oh, you gave me this." He goes, "Oh yeah," because one day I woke up and I looked terrible. My hair was here, this is there, and he walked into the room from his bedroom and he goes, "Oh my goodness!" I said, "I woke up this way." So that day he went into the local store. I don't know what store it was, and he found this mug, so he bought it for me. I laugh every time I use it. So today's a laugh day. So
Yeah.
I, everybody, welcome. Hey, John, can I see people's comments or
Yeah.
no?
Yep.
Yes, I should move over to
They're all
comment.
coming up right now. Yep.
Okay,
They're all
comments. There
coming.
you go. Oh,
Yep.
good. It's such a different layout than the Facebook Live. Hi, Veronica, Joni, Teresa, Veronica, Billy, the man himself. I'm
Yes.
watching with Sheila. Hi, Barbara Berkowitz. I was just talking about you. Maria, hi Maria, Helena, Kim. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Natalie. Hi, John Conroy. We got to talk to each other, John. I mean, really, right? Dawn, Maurice, Harry. Thanks. I know I miss too doing it every day, but it got a little draining after like 3 months of doing that, and then I thought, got to take care of the self too. So,
And Diane saying, wonderful reading last night with Janet. You were just telling me about Janet.
oh, Diane, was that not blow away? I mean, I've never done. Last night I did at 4 o'clock Pacific time. I did a demonstration with Janet Nahavik, who's I recommend Janet all the time. She's a wonderful medium, but has a church in New Jersey and called the Journey Within. And I recommended her so many times. A lot of the British mediums go there now. She has them do work there. But yesterday, Janet, she's such a kind lady. Used to be a former nun, and she's trying to get benefit money for the Fox Sisters home, which was the Fox Sisters were really the beginning of mediumship. If you don't know about the Fox Sisters, definitely got to look them up. And there was some clicking in one's foot, and they would get information from this man who they found out died in their home. And they'd receive information. It was the first time mediumship kind of was known, and of course, that was I don't want to say it was definitely 1800s. That was when the first big spiritualist movement started,
Mhm.
and they became well known, well, very well known. And then, of course, they had skeptics too, like I did, and that was their journey, and it was a great journey. The Fox sisters, definitely look them up. So they had lived in this little like a schoolroom house in upstate New York, and it really kind of gone down through the years. And what Janet and Havoc decided to do was to bring that back and to rehabilitate that house because it was the birth of spiritualism. So she's been doing benefits to raise money for it, and she said yes to the National Spiritual Association, which is an organization for a lot of the churches.
Mhm.
They've raised money for the garden of it, so the garden looks great. So that's what I did it for. And she's using a lot of mediums who are sharing their skills with her to do demonstrations. And I was fortunate to do it with her yesterday. And I know Jenna for a long time. She's hosted me to do demonstrations and events in New Jersey for years. But this is the first time I ever did a double demonstration with her, and she was phenomenal. She's just great, John. You got to watch her.
I will. Yeah.
And we worked so in sync. And Diana, it was pretty amazing how in sync we were, huh? With that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And you,
yeah, it was never. I mean, it's so easy when you as a medium you're working with somebody who's in the same level with you, and you get the information very similarly, and you complement each other, like
mhm.
Kelly White and I do.
Yeah, I was about
Um,
to say, just last Friday, you guys did a great job with the psychic
The
readings.
psychic readings were
Yeah.
great too the other night.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was a lot of
I don't
fun.
know. I guess China's maybe not working as much or traveling as much, obviously.
Right.
But all of us are home and replenishing our energy, hopefully, and doing things we love. And last Thursday or Wednesday, I said, "This is the best day I've had since I turned 60, which was 2 years ago, or for a long time." And I felt really like a young kid and full of energy. I
Yeah.
think of taking care of myself, doing yoga twice a week and Pilates twice a week, and just getting back to enjoyment and trying to look
Right.
at life as a child. So
And focusing on your school.
and focusing on the
Empowerment, maybe?
school, which has been
Yeah.
incredible. Mediumship 2 is starting now, and you know what I'm getting though, John? It's really the school is really I'm finally getting it. It's
Uh-huh.
so much I'm helping people in so many different ways that I didn't
Wow.
expect, and that's
Mhm.
come into that I'm really
It's that
enjoying.
ripple effect, you know,
It's a ripple
human
effect.
empowerment that you're doing with all the
And
people.
and it's really interesting because lately what's come back is, you know, I've done this work so many years, and the past 3 years, I'd say a lot of people are coming up to me at events or emailing me and saying, "Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for all the
Mhm.
change," and it's finally making its effect, which is really great.
Yeah.
New comments. Let's see what we have here. So I'll answer a lot of questions today. Not mediumship questions, honestly, well, like making contact, not readings, but
Right.
I'll answer anything you guys want to ask, and then we'll see what that leads to.
Got it. All right, let's get a little bit of this in here too. All right, here they go. All right, so let's see. Comments are pouring in.
Flying in.
They really are, yeah.
Wait, Tammy Johnson said, "I don't know what to do with all that is channeled to me. I'm really trying hard to understand what's going on." Tammy, you really need to, first of all, please take Psychic Portals course in my school or a basic. I would like to recommend someone who teaches this Lynn Probert's good, but she teaches mediumship.
Mhm,
I'm okay with your child and all that, but I want you to start grounding yourself.
mhm.
I don't want you to stay up here in the clouds and channel because that's fine, but you first need to ground yourself and get back in the earth and get real. Get real. You can't be so spiritually evolved if you know earthly good. So let this be a time for you first to get involved with who you are through grounding work, through learning about energetic work, and just not just to open a channel, but you have to take responsibility. You don't want to just be open like that because that could lead to some not great things, you know. Um,
Right.
so please listen to me. Okay.
So Susie's saying, "Looking forward to your webinar with Tammy Hendricks. Do you have dates yet? She's a beautiful soul." So, yes. So
We do
that's
it in
for animal
August, right,
communication.
John?
Yeah, it is coming up. Yeah.
When is it? It's in the middle. Three events in August. 3 nights in August. It's not on the board yet. It's not on the website yet.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
we're just making sure that we don't want to put too much up for people because they get lost with it. It's hard for you to remember certain dates.
Right. I have dates August 20th,
Okay.
27th, and the 3rd of September. So it's coming up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me those dates again.
Okay. August 20th will be
20th,
Paul
my birthday in
Princeton.
3 days from that. It was August 20th. Okay, we pushed it back a week. August 20th,
Yep. August 27th
27th. Okay.
and September 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's great because I'm trying to also, besides Tabby Hendricks, who's an incredible
Mhm.
animal extraordinaire, I'm trying to also get Helen DeVita, who is a medium in England, whose specialty is also animals. So I would like to get her. So that's why
Right.
we pushed it back a week. So
And speaking of Kelly White, you have your Are You a Starseed coming up on August 11th with Kelly White. And
let me talk about that. That's so
yeah.
cool. Okay. So Kelly White, for those who don't know, there's Kelly. For those who
Yeah.
don't know Kelly, Kelly's my best friend now for many, many, many years. And how we found each other was bizarre. It was through my book, which fell off the shelf, and she was going through some of the things I went through, and she said I need to meet this guy James at Prague, and she talked to her mother, and her mother goes, "Well, I know someone who knows James," and it was a client of hers,
Mhm.
and sure enough, the friend, and I said, "Oh yeah," I talked to my friend, and she says, "Oh, I know Kelly wants to. This lady Kelly wants to get together with you."
Mhm.
Actually, and Kelly's mother, she was a psychotherapist, I guess,
Mhm.
to all celebrities, big celebrities, and
Yeah.
that's how I met Cher originally through
Oh,
her
wow.
mom. Yeah, when Cher left Sunny. So anyway, we this friend of mine, a mutual friend now, um, gave Kelly my information, and I talked to Kelly, and I gave Kelly, I didn't even know who she was, and I gave Kelly a reading on a boat in Italy. I was on a cruise,
Oh, wow.
and I guess I was the back of my broom, and I was giving her this reading, and as I did it, a bird landed on this. It was so wild. Middle of the ocean, this bird landed there, and it was like wild stuff. And it was great. And since then, we've been good friends, really,
Yeah.
really good friends, kindred souls. So Kelly's incredible, a
Yeah.
psychotherapist, and now really a more medium. She's a born medium,
Mhm.
and she's great. And she does also numbers, John. Right?
Right,
What
numerology. Yeah, she also
destiny numbers.
yeah, destiny cards, so that's based on the regular playing cards that everyone
Uh,
has, and then she's able to interpret them using the destiny card system, which is a little bit of combination, I think, of numerology and cards and, astrology all mixed into one, which is really
and
cool.
her intuition.
Oh, of course, yes.
It's
Yeah.
so when I do the psychic reads with Kelly, it's like she does the numbers, and I'm like, Oh my God. And it's just
Yeah.
amazing. Just
So
amazing.
people are asking, "What is a starseed, James?" And
So
you are now going
starseed.
by James Starseed to tell us all about it.
So starseed, it's a funny and it's a really weird thing how
Yeah.
if all of you pay attention to every day to the synchronicities that happen and you're more open to it, you're more open minded to how the universe is, how these miracles. I just every day I try to wake up and wonder and go through my day and I know John, you do it being the Piscean. That
Mhm.
you're open up to the wonderment every moment of certain miracles that'll happen and just wait for that miracle and see how the universe, the magic comes in that day.
Yeah.
Start doing that, everybody, because you'll notice it and you'll get out of the way and you'll notice these things. Well, it's so weird. Oh, and I always want to get emotional when the validations happen
Mhm.
because like this is so great.
Mhm.
The star thing, seed thing. Let me go on. So Kelly recommended. Oh, I have to put on my website. I know I haven't yet. A Pranja. You have
Yeah,
Pranja's
Prada. I
information,
do. I do. Uh-huh. I sure
John.
do.
Would you be able to put that on the website with Alice? Was that possible
Oh,
under
yeah,
the
sure. Yeah, I'll make
resources?
a note to do it. Mhm.
Please. Okay. Because she's an amazing healer out of, right now she's living in India at a ashram, but she's from Brazil.
Right.
And she did an incredible job. You have had 2 sessions with her, right, John?
I have, yes. Yeah.
And was the second one very different than the first one?
It was.
Was
Yes.
it?
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
She's amazing. How would you describe this girl,
Yeah,
Pranja?
she's an energy healer. I think she's worked with Barbara Brennan
Yeah. Hands of Light, Barbara Brennan. Yeah.
right. And, so she works with her guides and your guides, and they do deep healing, as a team. It's pretty amazing, and
I've had
yeah.
many healings and in Brazil and all over, but that was got to say the most profound healing in that. And the first, I never knew this lady, and we did it with WhatsApp.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's in India. We just laughed for the first 40 minutes. We had so much in common. And it was like, oh my God, I'm meeting a soulmate. And she was so great and humble and
Yeah.
real and we just hit it off and we had found a lot of synchronistic things. And
Right.
then we started doing the healing and I don't know what she goes, James, should we start now? I said, oh, I didn't know we hadn't. So okay, just let's get started. And I didn't know what to do. So I turned my lights off and I laid down on the
Yeah.
floor and my phone next to me and she didn't tell. I just felt that. And
Right.
from my experience, John, it was and for everybody,
Yeah.
it was just I closed my eyes and just breathed. And
Mhm.
next thing I know, I don't hear her. And I hear this. I don't know again what yours was experienced,
Yeah.
but she was going, I heard whoosh, whoosh, and all these sounds. And I knew
Wow.
she had left. And I
Yeah.
knew this whole thing. And I experienced so many different things. And I kept remembering, I can't put this in the human, I can't put the light, I can't limit this into the human
Experience, yeah. Mhm.
conception of it because it's
Mhm.
beyond human. I know this is beyond human. So
Right.
I just want to be open to whatever happens. And I felt my solar plexus afire. I
Yeah.
felt like an explosion of like a volcano coming out.
Yeah.
And I saw all the relationships coming out and clients
Yeah.
coming out and things, events in my life coming out. And then this volcanic lava, I guess you could say, lit up the room and then lit my house and lit up my neighborhood, went down
Wow.
the streets,
Yeah.
and then was out. And it was amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. And then I started crying, and it was so much gratitude, and it was
Yeah.
like it was great, and it was just great, and yeah, and then about an hour later, I guess I heard her say, I knew it was time. I knew they were ending, but I felt people working on me,
Mhm.
beings. I said,
Right.
where are you beings from? And I was trying to not be the human thing. I know the human. I
Yeah.
know you're beyond the human. Sir, they call me, not James. They call me sir, because you're not your name. Obviously, as your soul.
Right.
That's this lifetime, sir. We are part of this. We are, and they're putting gold light in through me. And
Uh-huh.
I said, "What are you doing?" They said, we're giving you star seeds. We are seeds from the stars, and we are
Wow.
from the stars." I'm like, okay, and they're filling me with this information, this energy
Yeah.
from the stars. And I was like, oh, star seeds. This is like star seed, star seed. So that's where that started,
Yeah.
and then okay, and then it was my most incredible experience, I gotta say, and then about a week later, Kelly and I did a psychic evening of psychic readings based upon
Mhm.
you guys saying
Right.
suggestion and soul care, and she said she's doing something. We had a question from somebody, and she says, "Oh, to this young man, she goes, have you ever heard of starseed? Because you're a starseed." I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, you're a starseed, and you're not from this planet. You're from somewhere else." And
Right.
it's really those souls who are kind of, I'm not going to say advanced. I'm going to say enlightened, or
Mhm.
from that space of it,
Right.
where it's different galaxy, different
Mhm.
galaxies. I got to say, and they do things in a very different way. They think a different way. Their creativity is a different way. Their energy is a very different way, and they're usually very wise before their years. And they don't look. They don't fall into this regular, everyday human Earth way.
Right. Mhm.
It reminds me of the Aquarian. Aquarians tend to do things their own time in their own way. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. They do things their own way in their own time. They're all healers, by the way. And so we've been having a lot of these star seed beings coming in, and have been here for about, I'd say, about 20 to 30 years. And yeah, that's my definition. When Kelly and I are doing this work, we're going to do an event, and it's going to be if you haven't been to an event with Kelly, and it's going to be freaking great, because Kelly is so wise about it. She knows much more than I do about it. And one thing I love about Kelly, she's down to earth, like me. She's a Virgo, just like I am, and she's very down to earth, and she's also a psychotherapist too. So it's
Mhm.
the science behind it, and yeah, you'll learn a lot. It'll be incredible to a lot of people that are here, that come on to this, that relate to this work, will be able to say, "Oh my God, that's me. I'm a star seed." So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's kind of cool. So
Very cool. Yeah,
yeah.
my first session with Prajna was it was more clairsentient, like feeling everything.
What did you feel?
Oh, I felt tingling
Yeah,
in my root chakra, my feet as well, and
yeah.
just all over, eventually my whole body. And especially the first session, I felt like my third eye being scooped. Like it was like there was like a scooping that was happening, like
That's
maybe
great.
clearing that was happening, with the
Right,
third eye.
right.
Yeah. And then the second session, it was more like you were saying, it was more clairvoyant. Like you were seeing things. You were not only feeling, you were actually seeing images. So I was seeing like my heart chakra being, um, I want to use the word excavated, pulled
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
and from like like from deep down, and then just like dusted off, cleaned off, and all that. But then there were also, this is going to sound weird, but like worms or like leeches around in the ground, like like leech to the heart chakra or what have you. And it was, yeah, and it was like this
That
clearing that
kind
took
of
place.
actually, that kind of describes your old self there,
There
I
you
think,
go.
because
Right.
you would be a person that tends to help people that are thinking about yourself, and then people
Right.
would leech on to you.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the I mean, those visuals are just pouring through my head, and she wasn't saying a word. That's the thing. You're right.
Exactly.
She just leaves you to go into your own little space, which you're working with your team and her team, and yeah, it's really
Yeah,
powerful. And everybody who's had a session with her just raves about it.
yeah.
So
So we'll put
yeah,
her up on my website. Now, I'm not gonna
yeah,
do readings today. I'm going to answer questions, and let's go ask
right.
some questions, John.
Okay, let's do it. All right. So, folks, if you have a question that's specific to, let's say, the general audience for spirituality, go ahead and post that for us, and then we'll get Susie in here. She says,
Uh,
being a
uh,
starseed can be a struggle to fit in. Thanks to Kelly, it's been an enlightening journey
I
of
was gonna go I
discovering.
was gonna go to Susie. I saw that comment. I wanted to, yeah, sure.
See, we're
Okay,
so in sync. Yeah.
John.
Right. So let's see here. Then they're also asking, how do you know if you're a star seed? They're going to go over all of that,
All
like
of that.
the traits of a star seed, how you know if you're one, the gifts of a star seed. There's a lot that's going to be covered in this info session that's coming up. So,
Hi,
and then
everybody. I see your comments, so
yeah.
I'm saying hi back. Okay.
So Emil's asking, is there any advice on how to open up the third eye, James?
Okay, so this is so weird. I want when you said about Scooby Doo, I said, "Oh, I got to remember saying this comment," and then I forgot about it, and then
We're
Emil comes with
there.
it.
Yes. Yes.
So I do yoga now. I did a second session with this freaking great lady who does yoga. I'll put her on my website. She teaches other instructors of yoga. She used to go to all the festivals of yoga and
Hmm.
teach 1,000 people of these yoga moves. And I've done yoga before, but the way she does this is like, wow. So instead of like doing an event, a pose like this, she'd say, "All right, now turn your arms, your wrists up, and
Mm.
move that, because and all these points in your fingertips, these are all chakra points as well." And the different draws, or what they call them, with the people with the fingers, that these are all these certain chakra points. And
Mudras. Mudras.
thank you, John. Mudras.
Yeah.
Mudras. See, I don't know everything. So
That's
the
okay.
mudra points are chakra points that open up the heart, the current to the heart. So if you have it's like think of it, two wires putting
Mm.
together to make that current. And there are certain mudras that you can
Mhm.
open right to the heart chakra. So that means
Mm.
So she said the other day, when I was asked, so she's a font of information. She goes, and we're talking about movement and opening the heart chakra and why our current
Mhm.
society is bent over and it closed our chakra. That's why we have to open up the heart chakra. I said, oh, that's so interesting. And she goes, and you
Mhm.
know why people have headaches? I said, why? She goes, they're not opening their third eye.
Oh, well, see, and I have had a lot of struggle with headaches, so that makes a lot of sense.
And it's opening the sensitivity, the clairvoyance.
Yeah.
So, Neil, what I would suggest, I know I sound like a salesman, but it's there because I
Yeah.
covered it so deeply in the psychic portals,
Mhm.
psychic portals one, and
Right.
and psychic certification course. I go right through many exercises of how to open up the third eye, how to declare audience, your clairsentience. So I go through all that really in depth in that. So those may check out.
Okay. Great question. All right, so let's see what our next question is going to be. So we're just trying to
Nanny, I'm just gonna as you do it, I'm gonna Nanny Womack says every time I would wear my third eye bracelet would fall off. What does that mean? Gee, I don't know, Nanny. You think you should pay attention to the third eye opening? Just saying. Okay. Whoops.
So let's see. I cannot see auras. Can you explain how to, James? That's probably a psychic portals question too.
It's a psychic portals question. I mean,
Mhm.
a very good way you practice, but again, it's not a game. But you can practice this. Is that you have a friend of yours perhaps stand up against a white background, and
Mhm.
you kind of like close your eyes, a little bit. You close them just a little bit, a squint to get to a squint, and you look to the right the right person could like 11 o'clock, or like 1 o'clock, and just squint and become aware that
Mhm.
everybody has what you'll see first a white outline of everybody. That's not the auric field. That's the elect. That's the oh, my screen goes up and down. The that'll be the energetic body there, close by. But then
Mhm.
the auric field is like levels or fields out, and try to first sense the color that's around them if there is a color. Don't
Mhm.
try so hard. Let your eyes relax. The more they relax, you begin to sense a color, and then you might see it. You might see orange, yellow, green, purple. You might see it, and then I think the best way is impress yourself with what you sense
Mhm.
first,
Yeah.
and you can also put your arms, hands out, and just sense where the energy is. And that's help because if you do that and you use these other instruments or hands, you're not thinking so much in the head. You can't think about it because it'll block it. Just gotta let go, relax, and just feel it. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and sometimes it comes through just through claircognizant too. It'll just say, "Oh, there's a lot of orange there. There's a lot of green there." It's just
And
like,
yeah, and it's different for everybody. That's
yeah,
how, everyone works
yeah,
differently. And John is highly, highly psychic, highly, and we've seen that. And that's how it works for you, John. You get the sense of
yeah,
you,
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just dropped into your consciousness. Like, up, orange. She needs to work on so like it's so much. It's so interesting how
I
it all comes
tend to
up.
do it watching TV shows or movies, and I got to be careful because I don't won't watch the movie, pay attention. But I become aware of the aura's auric field as they're doing it, and it's so interesting because there's certain auric fields when they're working, like when they're doing their TV thing or movie, there'll be so much red. And I'm like, oh, what? And
Yeah,
red is energy. They need the energy, and they're
yeah,
emoting what that character is like. You'll find that in the energetic field, in the auric field, and there are
yeah.
different levels of the auric field as far as levels going out. If someone's happy and positive, and then the expansion is great, but if it's negative or fearful, the fields come in. So,
Hmm.
and you want them out.
Yeah. So when you saw that orange, it was like, you need to work on your sacral chakra, and then it's like, or you wear the color orange and just different
That's
things like
right.
that. Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
right.
even
And if you want
doing,
to get more involved with clairsentience and healing work, we're green or
yeah.
the orange. You said if you have problems or past struggle, let's say you were sexually abused. Let's say there's abuse
Mhm,
problems there, a sense of not being emotionally connected.
mhm,
Orange is great. I used to at
mhm.
my workshops, we said people wear the colors the next day that they needed to work on. So blue, if they couldn't communicate, they didn't want to speak their words, they had to wear blue because blue's open the show throat chakra.
Yeah,
And so it works like that. A little more clairvoyant, wear the purple or the violet.
yeah,
Um, it's interesting when you see this, when people wear their clothes, and pay attention to this, this is really cool
yeah.
that the clothes that someone wears and just when you're sitting in a cafe or out to a restaurant or something, notice the colors people choose to wear.
Mhm,
Because in the morning when you choose to wear something, you're feeling something, you're sensing them and what color I feel good in today. So that tells you that that color, that every color has a vibration and a frequency. So
mhm.
you're wearing yellow because maybe you're thinking too much and you're in your head. Yellow is very much that way, or you want to be in your power, which is yellow is a solar plexus.
Mhm.
And if you wear black, black tends to be the color that you don't want to be seen in. Mm.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
Capricorn wears a lot of black because they want to be in control and
Mhm.
responsibility, and they just want to do the work, not be seen. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to check that. Colors are. Thank you. So colors is very, very interesting. I'm going to be doing a course on the therapy of color.
Oh, great.
Yes, because I have to, because I have this
Yeah.
book, this magazine article I put out 2 years ago at Color Therapy in San Diego, where I live,
Uh-huh.
and it is such great. I mean, it's such vibration and frequency of color that, like my office here, I have a bookshelf with all different colors, and there are certain colors I love: violets, I love blues. Obviously, blue, my favorite color,
Yeah.
and I,
Me
I
too.
have to have that around me to feel calm and to it speaks to my soul. It's true with everything, John. Like so,
Mhm.
the colors you're having around your environment, right? So interesting. So restaurants use a lot of red, or they used to use a lot of red. Now, why would they use red? Because red is like fast and get go 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 go, and they want people to turn. They want to turn over the tables.
Mhm.
So they use green. They used to use green in a lot of hospitals, and green is healing.
Mhm.
So it's very, when you start paying attention to that, open your mind to the different colors and the variations and the vibrations of them. You'll be more noticeable of them and how they're used. And then might walk into a space, you might say, "Yeah, that color doesn't feel right in this space." So you guys should all check that out. Try doing that and try getting into that and seeing where the colors fit or not fit, and what do you feel is that color is in that space. I'm doing a TV thing right now for a YouTube channel, and I'm talking about the association of a color or a certain item in its space with how it speaks to the environment around it. Is it being squashed? Is it being opened? Does it do they work together and open
Mhm.
up that space? So work on that right now. But it's true when you look at the aesthetics and how things are placed, it's
Yeah.
feng shui, if you will.
Right.
But, you know, it's a bit of feng shui, a bit of color therapy. It's gonna be great, of course, but people should start doing that with colors. It's
Yeah, that's
interesting.
gonna be an exciting course, and I bet you play a lot with that with your garden, planting
I do. And
flowers
in
and
the
stuff.
YouTube channel, I walk all through I'm bringing a tour and everyone to my gardens, my meditation
Oh,
gardens. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, great. So we're moving on to this next question. It's from Haley. She's saying, "Are soul families at the same soul level, or can there
No,
be a mix within the soul
no.
family?"
How are they
Okay.
going to learn if they're the same level?
Right.
So you'll be born with parents or siblings or family who are at different levels, and you find that sometimes you don't get along with them. So the greatest teachers in our life, the ones we learn from the most, are our families.
Yeah.
And people say, "Do we pick our family?" We do pick our families because we have to learn from each other. And in one lifetime, you might be the father, or you might be the child, or you might be, brother-in-law, whatever. And you act it out. Think of it as a theater play
Mhm.
that you acted out. That's play in that on the stage, and those characters, and then there are some characters on that stage that their scene is over, and they leave the stage, leave the play, they're done, and they go behind the scenes and work behind the scenes. It's like heaven, right? So earth
Yeah.
and heaven, and so the next time around, you might have to be the other character to feel it with the reactions and the emotions from that other receiving that stuff. So it's a way of learning on both ways, from both angles, and that's why we change things up. And it would be really boring if we had the same level. Same on this earth. If we had everybody in the same soul awareness on this earth, we couldn't grow because there'd be no dynamic. There'd be no scenario set up because of the difference in belief systems and who they are, the levels that they're at. So we have to change it up. It's always dynamic. And I'll remind everybody of this too. Every single day, in every single way, people that come upon your path are your teacher or your student. So
Yeah.
we should never judge someone because we should not judge them because they're there.
Right.
You've attracted them for some whatever reason, and they can have their stuff. And I had to learn this 2 days ago. Remember, and I know this, but you got to remind yourself: it's not your stuff; it's their stuff.
Mm.
And don't let anybody visit their stuff upon you because it's not good.
Yeah.
And I just had to realize that thing about I have a friend here celebrating her birthday, and we talked about it, that we're pretty kind people, but people sometimes take advantage of that.
Mhm.
And now that I'm 60, you get to the point where you get older, it's like, I can't take that anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it helps you. You have to point out people's stuff that you're experiencing, and um, somebody accused me of saying a lie that I'm like, "What?" And I don't
Mm.
even think this way about this thing. It's like, I don't even think that way. And
Yeah.
it's a person who wouldn't take responsibility for their stuff. And
Mhm.
I say, "Well, that's not my truth. It's your truth, and I won't accept that."
Yeah. Good boundaries there. So
Yep, set
Brandy
boundaries.
is saying, "Is it spiritually acceptable to walk away from a toxic parent?" Speaking of boundaries.
Yes, it is. It's very much so. It's honoring who
Yeah.
you are. It's honoring your boundary, and it's teaching them that they
Mhm.
cannot treat you that way. And
Yeah.
if you do that, they'll stop saying. They'll look at you and say, What is my daughter, or my son? What? Why would they speak to me?" And you help them look into themselves, and I wouldn't judge them as saying you're this and you're that. Don't do that. Say, um. You can easily say, "This is unacceptable to me, and this is why it's unacceptable to me." And you remember this as you do that.
Mhm.
And Kelly White told me this,
Mhm.
you've gotta accept people for the level that they're at
Right.
because they might be limited. They might not know certain things. So remember that, and you can't be all high and mighty and say, "I'm this way. You got to do this. You got to force them to do this." No, you can't do that. You
Right.
just got to present to them that this is why what I'm feeling, and I'm not going to push you to honor that. That's just who I am, and that's
Mhm.
the way. And you just end up with say, "Yeah, that's okay." That's okay. That's how the universe works. We coming together with different souls, and I
Mhm.
hope you learned from me. I learned from you, and then
Mhm.
let it go, and let that person always be the one that you want them to be. So you have to be that you want them to be. So
Right.
if you're teaching a parent, you can't be judgmental in their parenting because they might not know what the hell they're doing.
Mhm.
Just being a parent isn't easy, but just be meet them where they're at and teach them without pushing them and destroying them. You don't want to do that. You
Right.
want to teach them. Okay.
Yeah. No, definitely. The other good thing is that you can get a lot of healing of past relationships and mediumship, right? So like when you're connecting with a loved one who's crossed over and they have a better understanding of the pain they
Oh,
caused. Yeah.
oh my God. Yes, yeah, every reading.
Mhm.
But you don't wanna wait till you pass over to heal
Right.
someone. You don't
Yeah.
wanna wait till you do not want to wait till you pass
Yeah.
over to forgive someone.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves because if
Mhm.
one can't forgive no matter what the situation, no matter what, I'm talking about no matter what, because
Mhm.
I remember a son came through with parents and he was died in a car accident and then by a drunk driver. The drunk driver survived and the kid lived. The kid died, the drunk driver survived, and the parents were pissed and they were like couldn't forgive the drunk driver. They lost their son, and the son came through and said, "This is a lesson of forgiveness. You got to forgive yourself if you want the rest of your life to work, because you
Mhm.
can't forgive. It blocks everything else. And like talk about the energy fields, it's a blockage. Things can't move. Remember, life, prana of life, energy is moving, constantly moving through us and around us. But forgiveness kind of puts a block in there. It plugs up the lines. Just had my sink done with the plumbing, and it blocks things are blocked. When you have hair in the
Right.
it
Sure.
blocks things up. So like that is forgiveness. If you can't forgive, you'll block up that energy. Not only the forgiveness, but there's an emotional upset that you still have in some way, whether it's a divorce, whether it's something at work that happened, whatever, and you're holding on to it in your body. You're holding on to it. Think of the stress that
Right.
it's causing in those senses of the body that block. And that's not good because it stays blocking, it starts corroding
Mhm.
like plumbing lines and starts creating disturbance and dis-ease in the body.
Yeah.
So I think that's some a reason why we have certain diseases, certain cancers and certain lupus and certain maladies. I think definitely come from that because we are what we think.
Right.
We're physical, mental, spiritual, emotional beings, and every one of those bodies have to be in balance.
Mhm.
Every one of them. If one's thrown off, it'll throw off the others. It's like a teeter totter.
Yeah. Well, this was the question we had last week in regards to grounding and the importance of grounding. And Rebecca's saying, I'm a healer who is barely in her body. So, why would someone want to be out of their
You're a
body?
healer who is barely in your body? How can
Yeah,
that be?
I know. So, I've tried all the traditional grounding methods and the advice. Just curious, as a general, for those who are out there who are healers and light workers. I know
Okay.
there's courses on this. I mean, I can definitely put
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 but
Yeah.
you can't be so spiritually aware that you know earthly good.
Oh, great.
You can't be
Mm,
spiritually aware that you know earthly good.
that's a
You
great.
have to be of the earth. You're here at this time to work on the earth, the physicality. So
Mhm.
you need to get in the body and be physical. A lot of times people, just say generally speaking, a lot of times leave the body because years ago there's an abuse. There was something that happened that they left the
Mhm.
body. We hear about soul integration that's needing, or there's
Yeah.
they have to go find like Michael Jackson. He left his body when he was young because he was abused. A lot of people who have abuse issues or trauma experiences will leave the body and they're not fully integrated. So I find that the best healers are the ones that are fully physically aware.
Mhm.
So you have to connect every day Rebecca, every
Mhm.
day, especially since you're doing healing work, you have the responsibility to be fully integrated into the ground, into Mother Earth. Mother Earth is wonderful. We wouldn't be able to live here on this planet if she didn't nurture us, give us
Right.
foods, assist us. So one of the, I mean, there's so many different methods, really, but
Mhm.
the best one I used, I think last week I did,
Mhm.
and it's being a tree. So
Yeah.
it's closing your eyes for 3 minutes and just go through your breath and imagine that you, instead of this human body, you're a physical tree. And I want you to become aware of that. And any tree you feel you are, and feel everything from the inside out. And you can become aware of the layers of the tree, the bark as it builds, because the circles of the age of the tree that creates circles, the skins. So what
Mhm.
kind of skins you have there? And as you ground yourself, when we do grounding, we root ourselves. So let your tree, this is your tree, and your feet are the beginning of the roots, right? So going from the roots down from the bottom of your feet, imagine those roots. Imagine roots going straight down to Mother Earth and spreading out and enjoying that journey with Mother Earth, saying hello to her,
Mhm.
thanking her, having gratitude with her, liking to be with her, finding maybe an empty room down there, like through rocks or a cave or whatever you want to do. That is your sanctuary. Okay.
Mhm.
Please do that. And then this is the trunk as a body. And as you raise it, your arms and your hands, you can see this is the canopy. These are the leaves of canopy going toward the light, which is the sun, crown
Mhm.
chakra.
Yeah.
And see, become aware of what the tree looks like. Is it a thick trunk? Is it a weepy trunk? Are there able roots? So, Rebecca, if you do this right now, you'd find it hard to have roots. So now I want you to create more roots, be more grounded in that than you would be if you then because you're too much in the canopy, right? And you
Mhm.
have to have a strong foundation, a strong root system, otherwise you'll fall over.
Wow.
Look at nature for all the healings, all the remedies. Look at
Wow.
nature. And then if you do that exercise, my friends, check out what kind of tree you are. And they then later see if you have leaves on the tree, if what season it is. Is it fall? Is it winter? Because that all means something. So
Mhm.
as you look at even the type of tree, if there's more to trunk of a tree, that means you're pretty integrated. If there's a strong trunk and strong canopy, pretty well integrated. If you have more canopy than tree, you're usually out of your body much more. Strong trees, usually oak trees. I don't want to influence anyone, but
Mhm.
oak trees tend to be very well grounded. I found, but that's an exercise you can do for that. So,
Great.
Rebecca, start with that, and everybody else start with that. When you do spiritual work, you got to start with grounding. That's why I say mediumship development, which I push so much,
Right.
is important because you develop how to ground yourself first. Because when you're grounded, you're in the body, you can be much more aware of what's going on around physically.
Mhm.
People think they have to leave the body to be spiritual. No, no, no. You can be here and be connected and be aware. Much better.
Yeah. So the next question we have, and this is going back into the spirit world. So we're
Hi.
leaving out and
All
going into
around
the spirit
us.
world.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're asking how long before someone passes can they? Oh, we're getting a call.
Excuse me, spirit's calling. Excuse me 1 second. Let me turn my phone off.
Right. Oh. Yeah, here we go. Catherine is
Sorry,
asking.
I'm on a conference call. I have to call you back. Okay. I just cut someone off. It's
Yeah,
really okay.
Catherine's saying, how long after someone passes can they start communication with someone? I think that varies from person to person, doesn't it?
I mean, John, you've been doing this so long, you could answer these questions, right? How many times have you been told if we can ask that? You just
Right.
gave the answer. Yeah, it does not matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't. Sometimes I find it does matter in certain ways because the condition of the condition of their mind when they go. So if
Mhm.
it's someone that had deteriorating disease or dementia or something that really drained the prana of the body,
Mhm.
when they leave, they're open, they're free, but they're in this world of like, what? Where am I? And it might take a little bit of adaptability to become aware of who they are. But your loved ones, the family comes to get them, their friends, their animals come to get them and give them that love. So part of the reason it's so easy to pass over is because you see the loved ones there and you want to go toward them. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and they prepare for you to come over every single time. But I swear my life on that.
Mm.
And cross my heart, hope to die. And stop it, James. And but this is interesting because it depends on I find for myself, and you might find it different for other mediums, but for me, I have found in my experiences, it depends upon the death condition. In that, I was once doing in my living room in Los Angeles 30 years ago, I used to do monthly demonstrations for it's like 25 people. And I remember that this man had a man come to his partner, I found out, and said, he's talking about those lights on the pathway. You were just doing lights. He goes, yes, we were doing that on Tuesday because he wants you to finish that. And he said, James, is he okay? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He passed in his sleep or something. He goes, yeah. And he said, James, he died yesterday.
Oh.
And then there was another time, this is really wild. I was doing a demonstration. I'm not sure it was in Philadelphia or somewhere in the country. And I was talking to this girl, and her mother came through. And her mother said, "You wouldn't expect me to be here, but I am." And some details, and this girl's like this, like this. She couldn't answer. And then, like 10 minutes after, I said, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "James, my mother's not dead." I said, "Well,"
Ooh.
so the mother passed away as the girl was driving to the demonstration.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a while. That's only happened twice in my career.
wow.
That's a blow away. It's a blow away. Who else did that quickly to me? My friend, one of my best friends of all time, Olivia. I've told everyone this before. Good friend of mine. God, went to spiritual circles and healers for. I knew her for 25, 30 years. She's
Mm,
a British lady, and we had made this pact that when either one of us die, one each one of us go. Whoever goes first, let's come right back and tell the other person what it's really like. So I'm driving down Encinitas Boulevard. Here I am, and I'm at making a turn, and all of a sudden I see Olivia's face on my windshield. I'm like, "What
mhm.
the?" And it was like 12:15. I was like, "What the hell?" And I said, "You better not have passed. You better not be dead." And she goes, "Oh no, love, you're the dead one. I'm alive." And went back to my house, looked at my emails, and her daughter from Australia wrote me and said, "I'm sorry to tell you this, but my mom just passed at I guess 12 o'clock your time." And I went, "Yeah, I know." And
Wow.
she was, and this is someone who knows about the spiritual world, who knows
Yeah.
about these principles. And she said to me, Olivia, when she came back, she said, "It's quite amazing." It was amazing. And her experience was, she said, it was, and she's a very she's Aquarian. She always would think.
Uh-huh.
And she said, I walked into this theater. It was like a theater. And she showed me clairvoyantly, like a movie theater, people looking up at a screen. She goes, they were all looking up at the screen. And I walked through the screen. She goes, and it was the most amazing thing. She goes, all these flowers were growing, big flowers, colors I'd never seen. And she said, and all these people that I've ever met in my life. She goes, everyone, even the person I didn't even know, but I opened the door for them and I showed a kindness to them. They all came to greet me. And she said, it was the reception. And she goes, it was amazing. And then she goes, and I looked back to the people outside the audience, and they were not aware of what was going on. So that
Oh,
was kind of the Earth people, and that
yeah.
was like a passing. So it
Yeah.
was great, and she's only come twice since, which I'm really PO'd about. But
Oh,
so
wow.
everybody has a different experience, but all remember that it's an incredible experience. It's
Mhm.
it's a wonderful experience, and all of you should go on Leslie Flint. Look up physical medium Leslie Flint, Lesleflynt, who was the last great physical medium in our world. He died in the 80s, late 80s, or 91, and I sat with him 3 times. And he has a lot of tapes on his website on the Leslie Flint Foundation. A lot of tapes because there was a couple named Betty Woods and Bob Green, I think their name was, and they recorded reel to reel a lot of these sessions. And you'll hear people who came over, but Gandhi comes through.
Mhm.
I think Thomas Jefferson comes through, Queen Victoria comes through, and a lot of different people. The guy from the Silence Group, Rudolph Valentino, comes through. Horrible voice. That's why I never made it into talkies. And but it's so interesting because they all say because the researchers Bob and Betty said, "Well, what was it like, friend, when you passed over?" And they all say, "Oh, it's very natural, really. It was just so natural. It was just natural. No one needs to fear death. It's something to look forward to, actually." And I agree with that. I agree with
Mm,
that because I know when I work with the spirit world and the joy and the love and the exhilaration I feel, which I do, that's a great way of describing those three adjectives, is so amazing that you can tell you want to be kind of over there than here. That's heavy, dense. We have to be here because we got to learn. This is our school. But once it's graduation, man, go over and enjoy yourself because your family and your friends have prepared a place for you over there. Always, they always prepare a place that fits you perfectly. And in that world, you can create things with your thoughts because it's a mental vibration where we are, and it's all around us, you see, but it's at a higher vibration, so we don't see it or sense it, most of us.
mhm.
And it's really, this is a physical vibration, but that's a mental vibration. So everything is physical, but over there it's mental. So when you pass over, you see all your thoughts,
Oh,
and
that's a
you
good
see, yeah, John, you see what you've created in your lifetime with your thoughts, and
yeah,
you see how this thought hurt that person, that thought hurt that thought helped that person.
yeah,
You see the rippling effect of your thoughts, how
right.
you're really in a bad way to this person and it affected them and their family and the rippling effect it had. And yeah, it's great.
Well,
You're your own teacher, your own judge.
Right. Well, that's what Sarah was just asking. Does the ego personality live on, or do we all drop what that when we pass over?
It's a
So
good question. So they're very
yeah,
similar. Yeah, Sarah,
yeah.
it's very similar, but and everyone can experience this, but you want to make sure, and this is how to get through it. Okay, you want
Hmm.
to make sure that the life that you live on this earth is the earth is better than you when you found it, right? And that you every time, like I said earlier, everyone that you meet is a student or a teacher, but you want to make sure, and you have to do this. So
Hmm.
Sarah, like getting away from the ego is really, but ego is great, but it's be used the right way. So
Hmm.
you have to be aware. I want to be everybody mindfully aware that when you meet somebody, you can either hurt them, hurt their lives, destroy them, or build them up. And I talked to this John the other night. I think they talked about it the other night. I think with
Hmm.
Kelly that I was with Gloria Estefan. She's a good friend of
Hmm.
mine, and I was with her in Miami. And it was we're at a cafe having lunch, and it was her cafe in Miami Beach. And every 5 minutes, someone would come by. Oh, Gloria, Gloria! She goes, "Hi, can I have a picture?" Yes, it has like I don't know 50 times within I don't know 10, 15 minutes. Of course, right?
Yeah.
So she got up every time and she did that, and she came back and said, "Gloria, it's amazing you do that. How can you do that? Because I know what it's like, but you really are the superstar." She goes,
Right.
"James." She goes, "James, you got to remember, you can either destroy someone's life in that moment, or you can build them up in that moment." And I'll
Yeah.
never forget that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's true. All of us have to remember that.
Yeah. That's a
My
beautiful
my
story.
friend that's visiting me right now, she said to me yesterday. Yesterday was a birthday. We've known each other 32 years, and she looked at me. And she goes, James, you haven't changed a bit since I met you when you were 24. I said, you know what, Marianne? I haven't. I'm still the same. I mean, I might have more money. I might have more possessions, I might have more land or a house or whatever, a nicer car. But no, but that doesn't own me. That stuff. It's nice. And I was looking
Mm.
around yesterday, like, yeah, I have some nice things. And when you're young, you want to be like wealthy and rich and money, like, whatever. And I've never been like that. I've been like, I want to be secure and happy. Was the way I set it up, and I am. And I don't have, I have exactly what I need. This is something I'm gonna share with everyone too. When I first started doing this work, and I was 24, and I remember I was in a development circle and stuff, and I didn't go out pursuing it. Believe me, it came to pursue me. Um, and I remember when I made this agreement with Spirit, and I was working at Paramount Studios. John, you know the story. And they came to me and they said, if you work with us, if you leave your job and you work with us, we promise we'll always take care of you. You'll always get by.
Yeah.
And I quit a really well-paying job at Paramount Studios, benefits, insurance, the car, the whole thing, to do
Hmm.
Spirit's work, not knowing how I get paid that month, how I buy my groceries, how I pay my rent,
Yeah.
and it worked out. And it was all word of mouth, and it was listen, I got to tell you this too, because it's just spirit works us all the time.
Yeah.
It's a miracle synchronicity. Um, Recently, when I got divorced, and I had to give a settlement to my partner, and I did,
Hmm.
and it was so interesting because I was not worried about do I get money now to live on, or do I sell my house? What do I have to do? But I wasn't worried. I just wasn't because I've been doing this so long. I didn't say, "Oh God, this is great." I just it was what it was. It is what it is,
Hmm.
and that's how you get after doing this. You live this way. And I got my money finally from the Ghost Whisperer, my royalty, which I had to fight Disney to get because they weren't gonna get
Wow.
it, but I knew they owed me money, and I finally got after 10 years, got a settlement the settlement check they owed me, partial what they owed me, but what I got was the exact amount I had to award my partner, which is the
Wow.
exact down to a dollar.
Wow.
Exactly. So they always take care of us if we do the
Yeah.
right thing, and we are our best people, and we change someone else's life for the better. Man, when you pass over and you see what you've left the earth and how you treated people and how you brought the vibration up, and not forcing them, but
Yeah.
helping them plant the seeds,
Hmm.
you can't ask any better.
Yeah.
That's what
Lori.
I'm teaching. That's why I want to share this with everybody because you need to know this.
Right. I love that story. Lori says, "You're so right. Our possessions don't define who we really are."
Not at all. You can enjoy your stuff. And like a lot, like all of my gardens. Oh my God,
Right.
my gardens and my babies, my plants and
We
everything.
get to see
And
those
my
soon. Yes.
But, I don't own them, but I enjoy their energy.
Yeah.
We have this union together, and
Hmm.
I like to enhance their beauty, and I adore them every day, and they bring me beauty. So it's like it's a ambionic, it works
Yeah.
together. And that's with everybody. We're all ambionic. All of us are connected. Just people, life experiences are different, and they bring out something maybe from their childhood, from a relationship that they're bringing out, but sometimes it's not who they are. And sometimes we get involved in relationships or friendships with and we kind of and my friend was just telling me this. We talk about people want sometimes people get in relationships. They want that person to be who they think they are, so they
Hmm.
kind of project what they really want in that
Yes.
relationship. And then
Yes.
years later, they find out who the person really is. So
Yeah.
Gotta remember that. Be true to ourselves.
They idealize the relationship. I know all about that one.
We want to talk about that.
So this question keeps coming up, and I want to address it really quick. Becca Russell says we lost both of my in-laws to suicide, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have
Oh,
children.
interesting.
If we can have kids, are the souls of them with our family that has passed?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Becca, it's interesting. Both suicides. That's very interesting. And now it might have been something that they had an agreement, or one was sick and they didn't want to live by themselves. Um, I don't know the circumstances of the suicide, but all suicides are different. So if they're in their 80s and they did, I have no problem with that because they've lived their life. But um, I, I feel that's okay, Becca. I don't know the circumstances, but I feel it's an okay thing. Is it always okay to do suicide? I don't know. I think it's always the intention behind it. So if they're in their late 80s, they're ill. It's a very different story than somebody who's 30 and the Google stock went down. They jump out a window. It's very, very different. And it's very different than someone had a brain disorder, mental disease. It's very different. So the souls of the spirit world are always around. So those who are preparing to come back, which I think you will have more than two kids, believe it or not,
Mm,
I do feel that they know them. They're aware of them. They're definitely aware of them. They're aware of them. They without a doubt, 100%. And when they come in, you'll find that there are certain aspects that you'll say, "Oh my God, it's like my mother-in-law, the father-in-law. Oh my God, look!" There are certain things you'll find because it's a soul group connection as well. Don't forget, and you all planned this before you came back into the incarnation,
mm, yeah, most definitely.
right?
Yeah. So James, we're about 50 minutes in. Can you believe it's just
I
flying
know.
by?
We continue to go. We have nowhere else to go. We're at home.
All right. Yeah. And
I
then we
thought
got
my nose is kind of.
many.
Oh, well, let's go to Susie. Says I'm a medium. Can you read me?
Oh,
No,
really?
I cannot read you. Can you read me?
Oh, there's
Susie, you put Susie on there.
okay.
Susie, how long have you been? I love when people say this because I just want to.
Hmm.
Sorry, I'm a little bit jaded. Not jaded. I'm very strong. Susie, how long have you been a medium?
We'll find out. Yeah, we'll see that come through. But speaking of medium, you have mediumship too. Want to talk a little bit about
Ah,
that?
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
mediumship. I think we have three spaces left though.
Wow.
Yeah, we're at 100 people, so I think we're three spaces. Mediumship 2 is a 6-month course at my school, JP School of Mystical Arts, as you see down
Yeah.
there. And it's an in-depth Mediumship 2 course with Development Circle. We put you in a Development Circle. There's always over 60 videos. There's homework. There's exercises. I put you in each, it's, I think, 10 lessons.
Hmm.
Covers very, very important aspects of mediumship. And I'm teaching you really what I've learned over the years from great mediums. Am I muting myself? No.
No, you're
Um,
good.
okay. So that's really what's about, and it's yeah. I think we have like 3 or 4 spaces left,
Okay.
and their payment plans. It's not a lot of money considering what you
No,
get.
no,
No,
that's a great deal for what you're getting. It's an investment in yourself
and it
too.
changes you. Changes your life. Your life
Yeah,
won't be the same ever.
most definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Then we have a question about pets, and we addressed this one I think last week too. Can pets reach out after death? And that's the next course you have coming up. Actually, info session, I should say. It's because it's a series of 3 calls on animal communication.
And the answer is yes.
Yes, of
More
course.
than now, but yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Any other questions that are sticking out at you? I know they're coming in so quickly. So,
What do you think about kids going back to school with the virus? I'm against it.
ooh.
I'm
Hmm.
totally against it. Totally against it. Why? I mean, we've already seen. You've already seen what happens when they open up too early. I mean, this is something that's very real, and it's something in the air. It's unseen. We got to protect it. I mean, come on. You
Yeah.
know how many babies or I think it was 8 babies were born in one county in one day. 8 babies received the virus. I mean, we can't do that. We can't put our kids through that. We cannot put our kids through that. I'm totally disagreeing with Trump. Oh, I can't stand Trump. Sorry, no political, but I hate him. Not hate him. I dislike him. Sorry, I shouldn't say hate. But I mean, we've got to learn something from that experience because wow, that's a really interesting. But chaos brings balance. It really does. So we
Mhm.
learn. We have to go through the extremes once to learn. But it's just really, I'm as a lot of people are appalled because I grew up in this country in America. I don't get political, but now the time we're living in, I have to say something, and whether people agree with me or not, that's fine.
Mhm.
I just got to say that I grew up in America, which was a different America, and then he's just changing everything. And people that don't stand up to him, it's like there's no checks and balances anymore. What happened to this country? There's people don't. I just don't know how people can live like that. And here's an example of not being spiritual at all. That people are very involved with money is the number one thing, and they
Mhm.
forget about human life. And I,
Greed.
you know,
Hmm.
we agreed, but it's again, it's a level that they're at. It's the
Yeah.
awareness level that they're at. So there needs to be people there who will not will teach them that if they're open to learning. They might be very closed-minded and stubborn, but we got to keep that alive. That you got to be first with life and treat people as you want to be treated, and be compassionate. And it's sad in my heart. It's sad to have that, but I know it's a learning experience for all of us. But I just don't like what's going on. I don't like the energy that's being spread. The whole thing with the mask thing, I think the country would have been a lot better off wearing the mask if he had only done that because people look up to him.
Hmm.
Whether you agree with him or not, people look up to that position to guide us. There's no guidance because he was incapable. He's not capable of it, which God bless him. He's not capable. But unfortunately doesn't recognize that the responsibility he has that touches every single life. I did mediumship. It was like and you have to have integrity because you're
Yeah.
holding people's lives in your hands. And it's the same thing. I mean, more in that position for goodness sakes. But I don't think he has any awareness of that. And
Mm.
unfortunately, because of that, the country has suffered, the world has suffered. But now let's push it to the individuals to take responsibility for themselves, to know what's best for them. And for me, I will not agree with the children's thing because until we have something that could really make sure we don't get anything. And the whole thing in Florida, the kids going to the beaches, and now the kids are being all infected. You heard about the thing about the boy? Oh, this happened on the weekend. I cry. The boy that went out to friends and he knew that the one friend had the virus and went out to a place or party or whatever club, and he came back and he got the virus himself and infected his entire family and his father died.
Oh,
It happens a lot now. So we gotta be
yeah.
mindful, gotta be
Yeah.
responsible.
Jessica says the virus has forced me to deal with my illness and go into myself and practice my spirituality. For me, it was the virus was a blessing and a lesson. So a lot of us,
Isn't it? A
yeah,
lot
yes,
well, I'm so thrilled. I'm thrilled in that we have time, and I said this very early on in SoulCARE when I did it started first week, that, this virus first the first thing we used to stay home, stay in, go in, stay within. And I
mhm,
pushed everybody, go in, and that doesn't mean physically you're home, but go into your soul self.
right. Turn
It's an
within.
incredible time, Jessica, and everybody to go inside you.
Yeah,
This is an opportunity for us. The universe is part of an opportunity. Let's think of the positive, right?
right.
That's an opportunity to stay with our inner selves and find out what's going on with us. Because society, we get so caught up in our heads thinking, I gotta do this, gotta do this. America's like, I gotta complete this, I gotta become wealthy, and I gotta have two kids. Oh my God. Start going within to your own soul and begin to listen to what your soul needs. And, Jessica, God bless you for doing that.
Mhm,
Everybody should be going inside themselves and finding out if assessing their lives. Have I done what my soul came back to do? What else
yeah,
do I need to do? And this is a great time for assessment. And
mhm,
do something you've always wanted to do. Take chances. Just like I auditioned for them. Some will remember that I
yeah,
auditioned for the show I wanted to. I shaved with the mustache, did my hair, became 30-year-old,
yeah,
which I got a musical guy to help me, and of course didn't pass the audition. But that wasn't it. It was the process of doing it and doing something different and
mhm.
doing something I always wanted to do. And it's time to do it. So yeah, go for it. I'm writing a screenplay now. I've never written a screenplay, but I'm going to. And I'm doing
And your musical,
my
yeah,
musical, The Tree of
yeah,
Life. Yeah, that's on its way. So we'll see what happens with that. And
great.
I just watched Hamilton the other night. Have you seen that, John?
I have
Hamilton.
not.
Yeah, it's on Apple TV or Disney Plus. It's really interesting. It's a brilliant, brilliant production. I will say
Yeah.
that. It is a brilliant production in every aspect. It's a couple of acting, but it's too long. That's my only
Oh, okay.
criticism. I
Yeah.
want to find someone, but it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. So it's a bit.
Oh,
It
that
could
is
have been cut. It could have been edited. But if you want to know anything about Alexander Hamilton, gotta see it. But
okay.
it was amazing.
Mm,
It's a whole world. The movement, the choreography, the lighting, the stage design. It's one set, and the writing, as far as he does some. The rapping is like, and I'm not a rapper. I don't. I like rapping, but to me, it was very poetic and very informative, and it was just genius. He won the Pulitzer Prize. Manuel, yeah, he won.
yeah,
He won the
very
Pulitzer Prize,
talented.
and he deserved it. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, so Lori's saying, yes, this is the astrology asking us
I
to do
think I
more work.
know Lori. Lori, I didn't know your name was St. Clair, Lori. You look good, Lori. I've known Lori for years. You're right. Is that right, Lori? Go within and look at your accountability.
Yeah.
And also, Lori, as you know, Saturn's in retrograde, which of course is going back and the accountability. And
Yeah.
good to see you, Lori. I
And then
miss you.
Chiron too, the wounded healer. Yeah.
It's time for the wounded healer.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So this is the opportunity to grow. This
Yep.
is what we wanted. Transformation. If you want to do spiritual, this is it. This is the spirituality. Hello, it's come. Do something. Jump into it. Jump into the pool.
Yes. Yes,
I
definitely.
jumped in the pool not knowing how to swim. I'm saying this symbolic sense, but
I,
do things that make you uncomfortable. It's the only way you're going to grow.
yeah, no,
Say goodbye to
definitely.
relationships that don't work for you. Bye bye. Not in
Yeah,
my house, you don't. Did
it's the
that one.
time.
Get rid of your stuff in your house you don't need anymore. Look around your house. What are you carrying that crap around? You don't need
Yeah,
it anymore. Clean up things. It's great.
yeah, definitely.
I have fun every day, and I mean, my heart goes out when I stopped listening to the virus things. I turn on CNN. It's like that's all they talk about. I don't want any more anger. And I just can't. I know it's there, and I just send healing. I do meditation every day. I'll send healing to the planet. I do that part, and I look after the microcosm here. And we can only do our part.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of quarantine, Isabel is saying it's awakened many of us and pushed us into spiritual awakenings. Is it normal to feel like you take one step forward and then one step back? I feel like I was connecting and then I was beginning to be able to channel and suddenly I feel disconnected. It's that whole, yeah, I get it.
Go on, John. Go on. You got it.
Well, I mean, it's very similar. Like, life works on a spiral. We keep coming back around to these lessons and these experiences and getting deeper truths. So we have to really, you know, get it all, or we keep repeating it. So,
Well, if exactly, if you haven't learned it, the fullness of it the first time,
yeah,
you're gonna come back and do it.
yeah,
And again, Isabel, I'm gonna push you like I told the other participant, grounding. And I don't. Someone says this weekend too. Yesterday in that demonstration, channeling. So what? Channeling, mediumship, healing. I don't really care.
yeah,
I care first about you, the physical body, the physicalness of you. I want you more to love yourself. And
mm,
first have the relate before you start channeling.
yeah,
I want your heart to speak to you. What does your heart fully involve your heart? What do you have to learn about yourself? What do you have to learn about the people in your lives? Have you finished helping those in your life,
mm,
clearing away stuff at that level? Then, because think of it this way: if you're channeling, right, if you're bringing that through, what good is that if it's going to have a foundation which is full of dirt? Right. And
mm,
so if this toxic, and that's not just you, Isabel, generally speaking, if you bring this energy, you haven't worked on yourself, you're seeing it through a lens, a filter of dirty particles. You're seeing of leftover emotional traumas or relationships with family, parents, whatever it might be, that might be
mhm,
still there. And so when you're channeling, you're giving it out, the energy has to go through that. So
mhm,
think of how that energy, that channeling, that words, that energy is going to come through. It's not going to be about purely because it got to go into that vessel which has all that stuff in it still. So that's why I think it's so the message will be skewed in some way as it
mhm,
more and less than as it many times is impressed or influenced by us, the mediums. It is. So the medium has to do their part in trying to be as clean, as pure as they possibly can, and working on forgiveness, working on self-love. So those things need to be cleared up. I would say before channeling. So I want you to do that, Isabel. It's very important for everyone that does channeling or mediumship to first got to work on yourself, because
right.
what good is your gifts if you're giving them? I hate to say this word, but I'm not. I'm from New York. Half-assed. You don't want to give someone a half-baked cookie.
Sure. Right.
You want to
Here's
fully cooked.
here's a nice thank you from Celeste. She says, I feel since the virus, Kelly, Prajna, yourself have been available to guide more people than with your traveling events. So thank you, James. I have been introduced to so many phenomenal people. Yeah.
Thanks, Celeste. Very true, honey. Totally
Yeah.
agree with you. I think we'll put Prajna up, and
Yeah.
Kelly's. Well, not, yeah, it's Kelly's working her rear end off, and I'm like,
She
Kelly, you got to
sure
stop,
is.
slow down, because you need
Yeah.
to slow down. She's
Yeah.
doing much to save the planet. And she said to me when this thing first started, because we're going to be working hard, and this is what your school is for. I'd be like, yeah, I
Yeah.
really get that. But you're right. You're right. A lot of people are forced now to do spirituality,
Yeah.
and Kelly and I used to talk about it, and with you too, John. Um, you need this is a time, this transformation. Either you step in, you show up,
Yep.
or you left behind.
Yeah. It's so true.
So
Yeah.
true, right?
I told myself with the whole COVID situation, I was going to come out better than I was when I went into it.
Same, same. How could it not be? Because it's such an
Right.
awareness. It's such a
Yeah.
moment to stop and look around, turn around. It's like I feel like playing Monopoly, and there might be you lose your turn before you go around the rest of the board, or the game show called Life. Remember the game board called
Yes.
Life?
Of course.
And it's
Yeah.
like you gotta stop and stop. You can't move on to the next turn, but it's a time to assess ourselves before we
Mhm.
move the pieces again. And it's a great thing to do, because imagine a lot of people have gone through life and we all chose it. All of our souls, we all
Yes.
chose this time. Because think about it, there are so many generations of people that went through in a period of life where they didn't have this opportunity to stop and think and to reassess and to
Mhm.
change up. become a different, like John would totally agree with you,
Mhm.
become a different being
Yeah.
when this thing, let this change you, whether it's more compassionate, more sensitive, more self-loving, more
Yeah.
self-appreciating, appreciating people in your family, forgiving people. Be the best you can be. Let us help you to be the best you can be. So let's not think of it as a negative. Let's think of it. And I always say, whenever there's something that happens, like it's a challenge or something, say it's not a challenge.
Mhm.
Like a lady the other night said in the demonstration. Well, do you remember? She said,
Yeah.
"Well, I've been suffering." Well, take the word
Yes. You said
suffering out of your
interesting point.
vocabulary. You're
Yes.
learning. So
Right.
make those challenges. See challenges as opportunities.
Mm. Yes.
Change your way of thinking.
And
Yeah.
that's what SoulCARE is all about. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, James. This has been
Thank
awesome.
you. It's
Yeah.
been great. It's been
Yeah.
really, really great.
And
And I hope
Lori
to
said
see everybody at the mediumship events. Is this Friday, John? Is it or next
no, it's
Friday? Next
next
Friday.
Friday.
A
Yes.
week of
Yes.
Friday. A night of messages. So if you want mediumship,
Yes.
please, that'd be a full night of message. Myself and Kelly are going to do it together. So
Great.
feel free. It's going to be great. We have a great time for those who have
You
not come.
too. Yes. So tickets available for that at vanprog.com/events, and you can check those out. And also, real quick, just to recap, we also talked about the Starseed info
Yeah.
session that's coming up with Kelly White and James. Let's see here. Let's put it up on the screen. There we go. And so you want to check that out. That's August 11th.
So look
And
at my website. We'll have that. We have that on the website,
yep, it's all there.
prog.com.
Yeah.
I want to thank also, John. I want to thank everybody who came on who are new to this, new to me and new to this work.
Yeah,
And I got a lot of people from YouTube, and I want to
you
thank
are.
you very much for. We are opening up that YouTube channel to called James TV. I'm producing a new TV show there, and I want to thank all the new people. And one thing, like I said earlier, we have is a community. It's a really
You
community
too.
here. It's a community in the school, my Facebook page community, as you
Mhm.
see here. But thank you, everybody. And thank you, John, so much for being available and to help people.
Oh,
To help me.
thank you, James, for all that you do. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be of service. And thanks
Thank
everybody
you.
for tuning
Thanks,
in.
everyone. We'll see
Take
you next
care.
time.
Bye bye.
Bye.